Hey everyone, Farming Lemon here. Today we have a quick guide on everything you need to know about contracts. If you enjoy this video, please leave a comment down below and considering leaving a like as well as subscribing. So to get to your contracts, you're going to be going to your main menu here, and you can go down to the fourth tab where you're going to see all of your open contracts that you can do. If you go over to the next tab, you can see your active contracts. As of now, I don't have any active contracts, but moving here, you can kind of see the basic layout of what these contracts would consist of. So you have your first contract here, which is a couple of other statistics here. So you're going to have your lease cost, what farm field it's going to be on, and your reward. This one specifically is for deadwood. They're kind of split up between fertilizing, you have deadwood, harvesting, honing, mowing, and so on and so forth. So they're kind of split up like that. You can see here that your reward for this specific contract would be 1650. The time that you have left to complete it, in this case, is 50 hours, and followed by 14 hours and 58 minutes. Easiest contracts to do are the contracts without consumables. So in this case, you would be doing contracts if you wanted an easier contract to do with it without fertilizer. Rather, you would want something such as maybe harvesting or mowing, something that doesn't require you to purchase any other, for instance, fertilizer. And if not mentioned already, lime would kind of be associated with this as well. If there's other contracts with needing to lime fields, that would also be in that category as well. Another thing to note as well with these contracts, you cannot use the leased equipment on your own field. That's the point I'm trying to make, is that you cannot use your leased equipment for your own personal farm. And one other thing that I wanted to mention about contracts in general, you can only take on 3 contracts at a time. So you're only allowed to have 3 active contracts open. So taking a look at this fertilizer contract, this one has a lease cost of $600. It's on field number 30, as you can see here from the map view that highlights it right there, as well as the field size. So you have 2 different options with a contract. You can either accept the contract and lease the equipment, or you can complete the contract using your own equipment. Some cases you might choose to lease the equipment, other times you might use your own. In this case, we're going to lease the equipment. So what you're going to do is you're just going to simply go to borrow items. We're going to say okay. Once that is done, all of the equipment will be at the shop. So at the top right hand corner of the screen, you can see that we're on field 30 as well as the completion bar. So we're going to go ahead and attach the rest of the equipment to our tractor. All right, now that is done, we're going to go ahead and purchase our needed fertilizer for this contract. Now that we're relatively filled up with the fertilizer, we can go ahead and head over, in this case, to field number 30 to begin our contract. Finally, at field number 30, which our contract pertains to, if we go back into our menu here, if you do not complete your contract within this allotted period of time, you'll end up just paying the leasing fee, and then you'll be out that money as well as the money that you spent towards the consumables. All of the leasing equipment for, in this case, fertilizer or seeding or for lime and for spraying as well, you'll need to always buy those consumables for the contract. That is not part of the included equipment. So we'll go ahead and start fertilizing this field. We'll kind of begin here. As we go through this field, the progress bar in the top right hand corner of this screen is slowly increasing. Now, especially with fertilizing in this case, it's a little difficult to see where you have been and where you haven't. So that progress bar is pretty important. You do not have to, in this case, fertilize the entire field. It's just around a majority of the field that you need to fertilize, and I'll kind of show that at the end here. Right now we're at 96% complete. We'll complete this contract, and as you can see there, it automatically tells you that your contract is finished. So kind of as mentioned before, you can see that we completed the contract, but we didn't fertilize the entirety of the field. So it just accounts for, you'll complete the contract as long as you're fertilizing or you're taking care of at least, around that 90% of the field. So since we have that equipment already leased, We can also find another fertilizing contract. So in this case, we see that there is a contract on field 79. This one's going to pay out $1,800. So instead of leasing equipment on this contract, we can simply go ahead and accept contract, go to field 79 like we are now, and now we just started a new one. In this case, we're fertilizing on field 79. So this is a brand new contract that we also just use this equipment for. All right, so we're nearing the completion of field 79 here. We should be done with this momentarily. All right, and just like that, contract is finished. So once you're done with any contract that you have, you can go ahead to your active tab or your active contracts, and you can go ahead to the bottom and say collect. Prior to accepting any other contract with consumables, in this case fertilizer, you want to go ahead and empty the amount of fertilizer that you have in your tank. So all you have to do is press I on your field to go and unload that, and that way you won't return the equipment with the fertilizer. Same goes for the seed that you purchase or other lime as well. You want to make sure you go ahead and unload prior to completion of the contract. So I went ahead and accepted another contract again here on field 61, but I wanted to demonstrate the fact that you can still accept contracts and use AI workers. So we'll go up to the field here. So as you can see here, the AI worker is still doing the work, maybe in a weird fashion. The main point I wanted to make is that you can still have AI workers do these contracts, maximum of 3 at a time. Your profits are going to be a little bit less than you would see on the contract interface. But nonetheless, you would still make a profit. So you could still do your other work on your own field and still have contracts open along with AI workers working them and still make a profit. One other thing I did want to demonstrate is a canceled contract in the case that you run out of time here. As you can see here, we have 1 hour and 22 minutes left to complete this contract. Now we have 32. And as you can see, once you run out of time, the equipment goes away and you lose that money that you paid to lease that equipment. Going back into the menu here, you can also see that it says expired. You have to once again go back and say collect. The mission was collected, and that way it removes it from your active contract, so it doesn't count as an active contract. So we accepted another contract for harvesting, and one thing I did want to demonstrate specifically with harvesting is when you go ahead and harvest the entire field, you can actually get some additional money on the side, and I'll demonstrate that here. We'll go ahead and put the rest of the sorghum in the tank, and then we'll go ahead and bring it to the selling point. All right, we're here at the selling point where we need to sell our sorghum. So we're gonna go ahead and come right here. We're gonna dump some of it. All right, and as you can see, we're completing our contract. We're at 90% now, going to 97. And so everything above our contract completion will be profit for us. So as you can see, we already had 1,400 in profit, and we still have some remaining in our cart here. So we have additional 225. So maybe around $1,600 in additional profit apart from the contract. So in addition to the 1,700, we also had, like I said, additional, I think, 1,400 for the sorghum there. So all right, if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like down below. If you have any other suggestions for any other videos, leave those in the comments below. I'm trying to cater to more so of these introduction type videos, for more so that would cater to a different, maybe a more broader audience. But if, like I said, if you have any other video suggestions, it's appreciated down below if you leave those in the comments, and consider subscribing. It's always much appreciated. Thanks, guys.